Mr. President, once again, thank you so much for giving us your time. I really appreciate this opportunity. As we celebrate the centenary of Madiba, our beloved Madiba, we thought it appropriate that we should speak to you as one of those people who's charged with his legacy, essentially. And that would be my starting point. It's a landmark here, which has also been flagged by the ANC, and it's a landmark here for the country as well, as we celebrate the life of our founding president. Why is it so important, though, that we attach this importance and we flag this occasion?
Well, it's important that we should remember Madiba on the 100th year of his birth, because Madiba was much more than an icon. He was a colossus, a real gigantic figure. He was the one person who had a very clear vision within the framework of his organization's strategic objective of bringing an end to the nightmare of apartheid. Madiba had the ability to be able to rise to the challenge and lead the people of our country, black and white, out of the quagmire of apartheid oppression. And for that, I think Madiba will forever be remembered.
Would you share the sentiment that the reconciliation project that Madiba spearheaded is unraveling?
What Madiba's task and project was to build a new nation, as it were, out of the ashes of apartheid. So that as South Africans, we should see ourselves as one nation. And in doing so, he was really acting out and implementing what is set out in the Freedom Charter, that South Africa belongs to all who live in it. The symbols that should unite us are there, the national anthem, our coat of arms, and our sports, and many others. But we still need the great underpinnings that underlie lives of people. Many of those things still need to be worked on. That is why we can clearly say that it is a process. It cannot all be done at one go. The things that draw us back at the moment are poverty, inequality, unemployment. Those are challenges that we face that mitigate against the nation building and social cohesion project. Madiba did his part to close the fault lines, and our job, those of us who remain, is to close more and more of the fault lines, and it will take time.
Madiba inspired a lot of people, yourself included. You were already an activist. You have been an activist most of your life. What was it in your relationship or that your relationship with Madiba, or that inspiration that you drew from him, that actually said that one day that made you think that I would want to serve in the position of president, in the highest office in the land, you know, as my 8-year-old daughter puts it, like, why does he want to be president?
I guess to be like Madiba, to always try to be like him, it's a struggle, but wow, what a standard that he has set up. Because as he correctly says, he is a product of the people of South Africa. He's also a product of his own movement and a product of the leaders that came before him.
Madiba was a champion of women's liberation and women's rights as well, yes. A cause that you have also ably taken up. How do you see your role in that cause? Would you consider yourself a feminist, for example?
No, I'm not a feminist, but I am an ardent advocate and supporter of women's rights. And our task as men is to pick up the flag and rally behind the cause of women and make sure that women play their rightful place in society. Because if we don't do that, society is impoverished.
You have spoken as well about that this is a long-term project. this is not something that is going to happen overnight.
Yeah.
That said, the voices are still loud and they're growing louder and louder. The voices of impatience saying that, and people are saying, Mr. President, how are you acting to protect this legacy of Madiba, to ensure that it doesn't go up in smoke because of corruption, and because of those people that have forgotten the selflessness that Madiba stood for?
Yeah.
What is your message to them?
Corruption is a disease that we need to rid South Africa of, because corruption impoverishes our people. Corruption militates against the interests of our people. And corruption actually makes us not give the service that we should give to our people as we should. As people steal money, they are stealing money out of the mouths of our people. The money that should go to building houses, hospitals, and roads and everything. So that is why we've got to fight corruption at every turn. I'm determined that in my presidency, I am going to fight corruption. Make sure that those who steal are dealt with very, very seriously and severely. So therefore, our task is to have clean government. Our task is to make sure that public representatives, civil servants, and indeed the private sector behaves, operates in a corruption-free manner. We want to be proud to be a South Africa that is living in the image of Nelson Mandela, that is corruption-free.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. I really appreciate your time.
You're welcome.